DJ Genesis, Detroit. Truth in the algorithm. Welcome to the live stream.
Yeah, live stream junkie with the mic turned on, breaking down the matrix while the lights stay on. Politics, religion, yeah, we question every claim, while the media playing narratives and shifting every frame. Ancestors speaking through the wisdom of IFA, cosmic knowledge shining like a distant star. From Detroit to the world on a digital stage, dropping truth bombs every time I hit the page.
Welcome to the channel where the truth get deployed.
Yeah, DJ Genesis live from Detroit.
Breaking down the system, every lie gets destroyed. Yeah.
Tap in, subscribe, you rocking with the voice.
Yeah, welcome to the channel.
Yeah, where the truth get deployed.
Yeah. DJ Genesis live from Detroit. Yeah.
Breaking down the system, every lie gets destroyed.
Yeah.
Tap in, subscribe, you rocking with the voice.
Yeah, debates on fire, got the comments going crazy. Asking questions that the system can't face me. From ancient civilizations to the modern day lies, connecting dots that they hide from the public eye.
Knowledge of self, yeah, the ancestors guide. When the full moon rising for the spiritual tide.
This the place where the truth gets exposed.
Every live stream, another chapter unfolds.
To the channel. Yeah. Welcome to the channel where the
truth get deployed.
DJ Genesis live from Detroit.
Breaking down the system, every lie gets destroyed. Tap in, subscribe, you rocking with the voice.
DJ Genesis, Detroit. Truth seekers unite, 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 unite. Stay away, stay away, stay away. Stay questioning.
Welcome, welcome, welcome. This is Alchemizing Energy, and aka DJ Genesis, and I'm here with a special guest, and I'm so happy to have her back on the show, Abundance Child. Welcome to the show, Abundance. I'm mute.
All right, my bad. You would think that I know how to do this stuff.
Right, as long as you've been doing it.
Thank you for having me, sis. I'm excited for tonight.
No, thank you for coming. So I really wanted to man, there's so much that we got to talk about that I want to talk about. Mm-hmm. When it comes to the divine feminine, I think it's really interesting on this Easter Sunday, which everybody doesn't even realize is not just only the celebration of Easter, but also it is a fertility holiday. That's why you get the Easter bunny.
Mm-hmm.
That's where you get the
estrogen.
Right. So it's great that we chose to do this show on the divine feminine on such a beautiful holiday.
Yes, I had such a great day today, with my mother, my daughters, my husband, my grandson, even my auntie came through, and it was great, just like, we grew up, even though it was under the Christian paradigm, knowing what I think I know now, it's just amazing. It's just beautiful.
Did you drink it of the body and eat it of the flesh of the Lord?
I absolutely do, every single day with Ori appeasement. Ori who?
You didn't go to church and take the communion?
Yeah.
They make you eat it of the blood, the flesh, and drink it of the blood, and
We do it all the time here. So even if that's what they're calling it, my business, I'm in the business of making food,
Right.
Business of the food is offerings.
Right. So you don't necessarily, you eat it to the flesh and drink it to the, all the time. You don't even realize it, right?
Man, flesh, I sure do.
Right. Hey, if you eat some chicken every day, you eating it of flesh,
Yeah.
But in remembrance, do this in remembrance.
You might have some issues if you didn't pay for that and you didn't ask that life, to give up its life for you. Because in a lot of these indigenous cultures, you paying in some way, you're making some type of sacrifice or something in honoring the spirit of that animal.
Yes, amen. So, so here's the thing, I thought it would be interesting to talk about the divine feminine's role in the IFA religion or culture or IFA, way of life, and there's so many different, things that people different things people are saying, when it comes down to IFA. I wanted to play a couple of videos and get your opinion on them. Would you mind if I do that?
No, please do.
All right, so check this one out.
I used to want to be the wife of a Babalawo. Then I woke up and smelled the coffee and realized that's not what I want to do. A Petsabi is there to upkeep the shrines. She's the one that carries a tutu to Eshu during initiation. She's the one that cooks the food most of the time during other people's initiation. She is the slave of the religion, in my opinion. She has her roles, but it's almost like her destiny is unfulfilled. From what they tell me, and this is other Iyanifas and other Apetabis I became friends with, and they tell
Feel
me,
free to tell me the pause at any moment.
don't marry a Babalawo, because your destiny, which might be that for you to be an Iyanifa, to help other people, do divinations, do make akoshades, do solve people's problems. But once you become the wife of a Babalawo, your destiny is put to the back burner because you are there to be the support of the Babalawo. When he's out of town, it's you who is there to be his secretary. And I ain't trying to be no secretary. I'm trying to solve people's problems. I'm trying to be a spiritual nurse. That's what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to be a spiritual doctor. Like, I am not trying to just be there cooking and cleaning just to be just being a wife. So let me tell you, I know that there are some Babalawos here. I know one particular that be talking about in Atlanta that be saying that women should not be initiated into IFA. They should only be initiated into Orisha. If you are part of an Ile and your Oga, your Oluwo, your Babalawo has told you that as a woman you should not be initiated into Ifa, he's a bold-faced lie. Ifa, the only way for you to know the purpose of you coming to Earth is through Ifa initiation. Your life Odu is only revealed in your Ifa initiation. Only, not during your Orisha initiation. So, if that man says that, he's one of those ones with that backwards thinking that likes to oppress women. There is something within the Isheshe community that a lot of
this
people
is like 9 minutes long. So if you want
one
to
thing
speed it up
about
and
me,
stop it, just let me know.
I fight for women and I fight for the equality. I ain't even gonna say equality, to recognize women as just as good as men, especially when it comes to Isheshe. These backwards thinking Babalawos will say, oh, women cannot chant Ifa. Women are not supposed to. They can't do Ikin divination. They can only throw Opwele, or they can only learn Erinde Lagoon, which undermines us to say, oh, okay, we don't have the brain capacity in order to be able to learn Ifa fully. One thing about Ifa, and I have asked, that it does not say in any of the 256 Odus that a woman cannot become a Iyanifa, a woman cannot learn Ifa, a woman cannot chant Odu. So anybody that says that is one of those men that are afraid and jealous of the capacity that women have. Let's be real. Women are connected spiritually more than men are. And every major religion knows that and oppresses women. Christianity will tell a woman what? A woman is supposed to be seen and not heard. 2, Islam, cover your face. If God wanted me to wear a veil, I would have been born with one on my face. Why am I going to be covered in 2,000 degree weather in a freaking hijab? God didn't create me to be covered. Obatala does not make any mistakes when he creates humans, okay? Which is my Orisha Ori. And one thing, men have to get out of themselves and let their ego go and understand that women have their place. Do you not know how good of a Babalawo you are if you had an Iyanifa on your team? Because let's be real. If we add our Ashe, the feminine Ashe, to anything that is made by a Babalawo, they don't understand how strong it could be. They don't. They'll say, oh, okay, those are women. They still have their period, so they weaken my Ashe in my medicines. Yeah, that might be true. But it also has some truth in it that when we ain't on our cycle, that we have power. It's our Ashe. God gave us the power of the mouth. Okay? Do you not know that? I know there's some Babalawos out here that can chant your draws off. I promise you, I have met one in my lifetime. And let me tell you, you as a woman can do the same thing that a man can do. It's some men that Babalawos that can chant Ifa, but they can't explain the Itan. Like, they can't explain the stories. But a woman, you can it's sometimes it's like women sometimes can explain certain things better. And I'll say one thing, we also have, sometimes we have a little bit more compassion than the men do. Like, I have watched Babalawo get frustrated with a client, and all the client wanted was their problem solved. Women, we have a little bit more compassion, and understanding when it comes to family and understanding issues. When men say that the only thing IFA says that a woman cannot do in IFA, and that is see Odu, because we ourselves are Odu. It lives within our uterus. So that those hormones associated with femininity is something that men have to get by looking and being in contact with Odu. But we already possess that energy. So when we go around Odu, it says she's known to drain the energy from the female. So she's draining all of the hormones and the energy away from you that they say she can turn you into masculine, make you infertile, make you start growing facial hair and everything. So when a man says that we're not as capable as them, I have seen Babalawo say, oh, well, a woman doesn't know anything. She can't chant Ifa. I want to be one of the women that prove these men wrong, that women can chant just like they can. Like, why is it men are so afraid of the power that women possess? I will always fight for women, and not even equality. I will say this, women are superior because God gave us the energy to be able to manifest. We manifest anything. We turn sperm into babies. We turn houses into homes. We turn business idea to actual physical thriving businesses. We turn thoughts into actions. Like, so when men try to undermine us, it lets me know that we are stronger than what they portray. Because in the art of war, once you understand a woman's weakness, you use it against them by telling them that they cannot be at the same level as you. So if you're a woman out here and you are in Isheshe, I'm going to tell you one rule. Never date your babalawo or your awo. Never. And any man that tries to portray, any babalawo that try to encourage you any other ways, run from that man. You shouldn't be dating your clients. 2, if you are part of an Ile and the Ile is discouraging you from Ifa initiation, leave that Ile as soon as possible. 3, if his home is shakable, he's supposed to be leading by example. Iwa is important. So if he's stealing, he lying in the name of Ifa, don't trust him. And I'm going to tell you one other thing. If you're in Isheshe, learn the 16 major Odu, because they will do a divination reading to you and say and try to justify certain things based on Odus, and that Odu did not come up. So do yourself a justice and learn the 16 Odus. So when you get your divination, your Idafa, you can recognize the Odus that come up. You'd be surprised how many times you've been deceived. And another tip, when you get Idafa, I suggest you record it. And if they do Idafa for you on video, have them record you, have them record it, or you can video chat them while they're doing it, because you want to see your Odu that come out. Keep your notebook of the Odus that come out in your life, because you know things that come up in your readings can take up to 2 years to manifest. So if I can't give y'all no advice, I just don't want people to make the same dumbass mistakes that I've made in life. So be careful out here, and don't let men oppress you, because you are just as great as the masculine energy.
Wow. That was a word, wasn't it?
She said a lot.
She said a lot. So I mean, I wanted to see if you would cover it. Like, I mean, did you take notes? Where did you start at? Where did you start?
I took mental notes. That's her experience. So respect to her. And I applaud the fact that she's sharing her experience for those people who may be new to the tradition, or heard some things and may have been dissuaded to come into the tradition because of the things that they've heard. So, big ups to her. I really feel like she did a good job. I feel like she did a good job.
She covered a lot. She did. She covered a lot of different things, and a lot of the things that we were going to cover today. I wanted to see.
I don't
Like,
see Apate bees as slaves. That's one thing for sure. If anything, they're the tie that binds. We need that. Um, it's a calling, it's a status, it's a title, and it's a good thing. It's something that's necessary and it's needed because there does need to be a balance. There do need to be other eyes. There do need to be women who do understand the rituals, the initiations, and things like that. There do need to be women that know what to do with the animals afterwards. I mean, I do a lot of apate bay things when I don't even eat meat, but my sister knows that I'm probably in the kitchen making the salad, the macaroni cheese, the greens, some type of faux meat, some type of a goosey stew or whatever. Like she has babalaos come through. I've had babalaos come through. They have different taboos. People do trust me with cooking. So I'm actually taking the feathers off the animals as I was trained and skinning them and cooking them. And in fact, I've had rituals where it was required that I had to take parts of the animal out and give it to a yami and then cook the food and then had to partake of the food. Now, of course, I didn't eat that meat, but the babalao did. So a patebi is not a slave. Another thing is that we have to think about the colonial lens from which a lot of us in what people call the diaspora have learned IFA. Now, she was speaking more specifically towards Isheshe, and Isheshe is the indigenous spiritual culture of the Yoruba people. I think the word itself means the way of the ancestors.
yeah.
So it is a living cultural tradition. Even if somebody over generations have been into Islam or Christianity, you still can't take the culture away from the Yoruba people. But I do think people need to have an understanding that even though the technology might have originated in Yoruba land or in Nigeria, it's useful to all of humanity. Even though the culture that birthed it's been recognized by UNESCO and things like that, the culture is the thing that carries IFA, and IFA is a spiritual technology that was perpetuated by that culture, but not necessarily didn't originate that, didn't originate that technology, if that makes sense. It's related, but it's not the same thing. So I think a lot of times our perceptions are misconstrued, especially because a lot of the things that we have are based off of a colonial lens because Europeans wrote a lot of the information that we have now, or men. And so I have some books that I would like to share. Ianifa, that's written by a sister that I adore very much, Ayala Kumari. I've talked to you about her. I also took her class back in like 2016, like women's history. That class was phenomenal. I learned so many things. I learned so many things about myself. It was a highly spiritual class. I can't even speak about certain things because in the beginning of the class, she's like, you can't be revealing things. Even in this book, Ianifa, she mentions this book. So if you don't mind, I would like to share her chapter.
Is that how you spell her name? Iyanla Kumari?
Ayele, Ayele, Kumari. You can find her on Facebook. She also has an online school called the Ori Institute. It was like Ashe Soul when I first met her. I really do look up to her. I've even taken classes recently, even though I'm initiated to IFA. I took her class called Isheshe based off of her book. That was great. It was like a restart, just emptying out a whole lot of stuff and just starting over. But she's also a historian, amongst many other things. And I think she has really good character in her work as a practicing Ianifa. And just, some of the things like the person said, like, and don't date your Babalao. And I'm pretty sure that she was an Ianifa and an elder to her current husband now, who now Baba Okikifa is like a head of bony for America and stuff like that. So we have to be able to look at things both ways if we're talking about being balanced and stuff like that. If we can say, don't date a Babalao that might be leading the Ile, then that means that brothers can't date Iyanifas who might be leading the wrong way. And my husband's not initiated to Ifa, but he's definitely married to me,
Right.
And so, I would have missed out on my blessing had I listened to, some of her words of wisdom. She also said the only thing that Iyanifas can't do, or women in Isheshe can't do, are see Odu. Well, that's not true. Some women have seen Odu. Some women actually have Odu. And there's different types of initiations, for that. Also, women can't wear masquerade unless you are initiated to like Gela Day. So, or Gela, I don't know how you pronounce that, but it's just the more you know, sis. But I appreciated her passion. I appreciated the information that she shared, because somebody coming in, that's good to start with that. But as they learn and as they actually work with Spirit and Orisha, and they grow and they evolve, some of those things that she said might not necessarily work for them. I'm trying to think of something else that she talked about. Oh yeah, so I really just want to stick to the point that I'm somebody that respects Yoruba culture as the culture that has been keeping Ifa alive for all this time. But I really like the technology of Ifa, and we have to. That's where my intent is. It's on the spiritual technology, the ancestral technology.
Yeah.
And
So
not so much into like the man-made things, because if you think about it, somebody created the initiation, somebody created the shrine, the beads, all those traditions, the culture.
right, and I think it was men and women. I don't think it was just one sided.
It definitely wasn't just one side, even though we as a people have always been matrilineal and matrifocal, and those things have changed. That's why, if you don't mind, I wanted to read some things from this book.
Mm-hmm.
Would you mind putting the light for me? Because my eyes. The first known, documenting women's mysteries in the tradition, which is Isheshe. The first known documentation came in 1915 from a woman anthropologist in her book called Women's Mysteries of a Primitive People, which I just happened to sell in Drop Squad Kitchen. By Amori Talbot. There she documents a trying tale of how men stole the mysteries of the women's secrets in societies in southeast Nigeria. The tale was recounted by 3 elder women who explained that in the old days, women used to outnumber men. As men grew, they became dissatisfied with their lot and began to conspire for more by asking for the women to share the secrets of the mysteries so that they would become strong as a society. Upon meeting, the women debated the suggestion with the elder women, stating emphatically to not do so. They did not trust the men in their plight. The younger women, however, fought on behalf of their husbands and suggested that the elder women cared only for things of yesterday and that it was a new day. Eventually, the old women overcame the elders and did share the mysteries with the full rights and every secret by means of which they had formerly held dominion. Shortly thereafter, new laws were created to forbid women to participate in their own ceremonies, including the ancestral plays. Instead, they would be taken over by men and become a men's society where women were forbidden. Further, if any woman would try to participate, witness, or practice, they would escort her to the market and behead her for all of the town to see, so that all other women would be dissuaded from participation. Now, since the men were stronger in limb and cruel, the women were forced to comply. Only 2 elder women remained who still practiced keeping their pots hidden in palm fronds in the ceiling, and one eventually was slashed by a machete. This forced the movement into the women's mysteries to go underground. The tale seemed to be one of the few remnants of women's stories and what happened to their mysteries, except a month after discovering this text, I met a woman who was Kikuyu from Kenya. Her name was Wangari, and she became a great source of knowledge about the Kikuyu women's traditions. Trained in the ways of the ancients by her mother and unfamiliar with the previous story above, she also recounted a similar tale of the history of the women's tradition in Kikuyu. Her story differed only slightly in that conspiracy involved the husbands pressing the young wives for the secrets and one acquired, and conspired to get all the menstruating women pregnant at the same time. Now, you know, women who live together and in nature have synchronized cycles of ovulation, menstruation, and birth, since these were some of the mysteries. The men then knew how to achieve the task. Now, since the women were great fighters, they had to attack when they were weakest in order to win. And at the height of pregnancy, the women were incapacitated, and the other women that remained were elder women who were so weak. It was then that the men took over and overthrew the female chief. These stories suggest that there was a mass movement across the continent where women's mysteries were taken and then used against them. I just wanted to stop there. Sybils and Mami Wata by Mama Zogbe also goes a lot more into detail to me about some of these things, and she does a really good job of documenting via anthropological findings and things like that what Sister Ayala Kamari is putting down in this book. So these stories are even retold from a masculine perspective to demonstrate the change. While on the surface there are masks performing these mystery rites, even today there are obviously feminine in nature. And upon my study, I found similar surfacing in the Odu's oracle poetry, in Itan's the stories, and one such story recounts in the Odu Osa Meiji how the masquerades in a Gungu mask used to belong to women. Obatala, which is sometimes male and sometimes female, but in recent years male, have married Odu, and then discovers the secrets to the Egungun and begins to wear the Egungun cloth and mask, fooling everyone. So she goes on to talk about that. And then even though that story is often recounted, you can even see that story on Facebook. There are other stories where she talks about where Obarisha is frustrated with Odu because she has so much power and she could take away anything from him. Odumare had given women more power than men, and anything she says actually comes into reality, so her power is great. She tells him that they should live together in the same place, and once they do, he gives her snails to calm her down. Once calm, he suggests that he doesn't keep any secrets from her, and while she keeps secrets about her power from him, and that they should share power together. She then tells them the secret to the Agun cloth, which is related to her power, and is subsequently able to then take it. Then she talks about Father P. Bowden in the Fetish and Fetishism from 1885, recounts a story where Obatala and Odu were married and had a domestic fight in which Obatala, Risha, blinded her to keep her quiet. So I'm not going to read the whole thing. Another acquisition of power comes in the Odu Irete Ogbe, where Orunmila marries Odu and eventually obtains her secret. Then there's other Itans and stories that recount how Orunmila takes Oshun's bag of wisdom, because Olodumare had put the bag of wisdom, in on earth and was like, y'all need to find it. Oshun finds it first, and then she didn't know that she had a hole in her bag, and so it was falling out, and so Orunmila then takes it and doesn't allow her to have it and only gives her a part of it, which is considered Arundel or Marundel. So that's that story. So I advise people who are really interested in learning things from a historical perspective to get this book. She does a really good job in the first part of the book, just recounting many of the stories. Like I said, I don't want to read all of them, but basically says the history of the role of women becomes more complex when we take into the account the influence of colonial life and trading had on women in the tradition in Africa. Initially, women yielded great power because they owned and farmed the land. That's also true in, can you give me The Great Cosmic Mother by Monica Shu? I read that in like 1993 while I was pregnant with my oldest daughter. It's right there. I got one right there. Yeah. Great Cosmic
Wow,
Mother.
they owned and farmed the land.
Right.
And I know in some culture they build the houses too.
Exactly. So in this book is a really good book. You can tell like I just really went really deep into this book, and it just talks about where the natural nurturers and the people who are naturally cooking and feeding the children. So we naturally going to do the herbs. We're naturally growing the herbs. We're naturally growing the crops, right? So
Yeah, I know my grandma used to have like a garden in the back, you know.
every woman in my family that I know has always had gardens.
Yeah.
So so colonial rule take the land and ostracize the women, and this created more of a dependency on men in a colonial system that did not recognize women. In addition, women traditionally ruled the marketplace, and even in Isheshe, it talks about women are the rulers and the owners in the marketplace. So that yielded a lot of political and financial power through their markets. So all of that was changed. And then you think about Ogboni, who's running Ogboni is Siami, right? So they kind of made it illegal for those organizations to be existing in the traditional Yoruba cultures once it was colonized. So it's just so much information that's out there. These are some of the books that when people ask me about IFA that I do suggest. But for any woman that is interested in becoming an Ian IFA, it's great that she has other women who have written in here and things like that. And she has an amazing lineage as far as the people who have taught her. And it shows up in here. So I would suggest people study that book. I've read that one. I've read Isheshe, Hand of Ifa, The Great Cosmic Mother. Now, I haven't read all of this. It's just kind of like you look for what you're looking for and maybe you'll find it. It's.
Wow. I mean, so what, also, they talk about Oya and Shango and how Oya stole Shango's lightning from Shango. Was that originally about a story opposite of the other, or is that like in correct order?
I've only heard it in that way, but I also grew up in a strong mixed tradition of Lukumi and Isheshe. So that was the only way that I had ever heard that story. And that's a good question. I don't know. That's something that I would ask Sister Ayala Kamari if you ever have her on. But you just got to think about it. Odu. It's actual living. These spiritual energies are living because when you do divination, an energy descends, right? Like an archangel. And people are chanting to the best of their ability the words that were passed down to them traditionally, and they are interpreting based off of their life experience and their spiritual experience combined. So these are things that humans are doing. So we already know how it is with the phone game. If you tell somebody something, by the time it gets to the third or fourth person, it's misconstrued. This is where I think Ori is very important, and have consciousness of your Ori so that you can use that information to see how it applies to you under the advisement of the Odu that fell in the spirit of wisdom, which is Ifa. You still there, sis?
I'm talking on mute. Is Olodumare a feminine energy?
Olodumare is like both energies. It's the creator of all energies. It's the unconscious to me, in this realm that we're in here. I think Olodumare is also part of a trinity, but that's a whole nother conversation. So Olodumare would be the supreme being of this realm.
And from what I heard is that he met Eshu in Triple Darkness.
Yeah, well, that's Baba. May he rest in peace, Baba Yashaba. We love this book where it talks about. I didn't even know where to tell y'all to go get it. Efism. I know I got so many copies. Have y'all seen Efism? Anywhere. I have so many copies.
Because I heard that Triple Darkness is the feminine energy, correct?
Behind the bed in that set of books, at the foot of our bed in the book box. Well, anyway, in that story, yes, that's one of the first books that I read from front to back because it reads like a novel. And yes, it says it was yo, who's that? He was like, I'm the light. Who are you? So I'm Eshu. Eshu. And I was like, wait a freaking minute. You know what I mean?
Right, because if darkness came before light, that means the shoe, right, existed before Olodumare. But is Eshu the feminine energy, or that combines with Olodumare?
There's Pomba Gira, which is like the female version of Eshu. Listen, I think we have to separate sometimes like energy, Rumaleg type energy, nature, versus the personification of these energies that we know as Orisha and Orisha evolving, which are the Inyan like ourself. So, these stories sometimes are talking about the deities as personified. So because we're humans, we always look at it as a human context, and we're not looking at it from an energy standpoint. So we're actually trying to personify Olodumare and Eshu like they're beings, like, yo, what's up? Because we're telling these are how the stories are told. And so our mind is already thinking something human, or something that we could wrap our physical human minds around, not necessarily like the energy of Olodumare and the energy of Eshu. Does that make sense?
Yeah. That's why I was saying darkness combining with light.
Yeah.
Create creation together.
Yeah, I like that. But it's kind of like, what came first, the chicken or the egg, the darkness or the light, What if they always existed simultaneously at the same time, like Eshu, in order for everything to function? Like that, like yin and yang.
Right.
Book. So yeah.
But if you actually get into yin and yang, okay, yeah, Ethism, okay, you guys get that book.
He loved that book, and so do I. Like even in my book, I've got this is for my husband. I said, read it, see it, hear it, feel it, become it.
Please pay attention to these. Every time she brings up a book, I'm definitely putting that book in there so that you guys could do your research as well.
Yeah, I've got so many books because I'm an information junkie, and I've had to learn how to balance that and actually like experience things.
Yeah.
And I guess I'm a late bloomer because, I really didn't start coming. I feel like I've been conscious, but as far as like applied consciousness in the way that is best for my actual path, it happened actually after I initiated to IFA. Everything started making sense. Like
coming together. Same thing for me.
6-7 years later, though.
Right. It takes some time. Exactly. Right. Like you got to first like get all the muck and the mire out of your body, out of your life and your body and everything. And then things start to kind of come towards you like, okay, now you're ready. When the student is ready, the teacher will appear.
Now that is so true. Yes.
So I wanted to also, there's a great story about Oshun that I really believe that really kind of like gives a good example of like the female's role in society. Can you kind of go over that story about Oshun and the making of the world and things like that?
Like Oshe Torah?
Yeah.
I think that's like the 17th. Yeah. Well, just to sum it up, there was issues on Earth. And so when they went back to Olodumare, they like, yo, what's up? The wives aren't having babies. The water's not flowing. They're like, where's Oshun? Like, you have to include Oshun in all things. So they go to see Oshun, and she's thriving. Like she over there making her cornbread and fried chicken, and everything's got her like, mamas do. They got their garden in the back. And she's just doing what she got to do. And she's pregnant at the time. And she's like, listen, I'll work with them and I will help them as long as the baby is a boy. But Obatala saw that the child was a girl, and so went in and molded and changed him into a boy. And so that's when she decided to start helping. Yeah,
I know it was something along to the fact that like they tried to do it on their own. Like,
well, that's what I meant. They tried to do it on their own, and they went to Olodumare, and they're like, "Where's Oshun?" And he's just like, "Oh, she's just over there. We left her sitting on the rocks by the river, looking in her mirror, like just
right, like we didn't need her, because Olodumare says, whatever you do, you need to include Oshun.
Mm-hmm.
And
And in
what
everything that you do in IFA, you need to include women. So that goes all the way back to, the point that the young sister was making. I just think from where I sit right now, I'm not as militant as I was when I first came into this information. When you first come into the information, RBG for life. You know what I mean? Like, when
right,
you first become vegan, you want to tell everybody why they shouldn't eat meat, that type of stuff.
right, exactly.
30 years later, like, I'm minding my business, you mind yours.
Right, right.
So where I am on that is that if Oludumare actually did create women as the superior being, right? You
Mhm.
got X and Y chromosome, you can put it on the scientific, then just the same as indigenous or aboriginal people, if we are the salt of the earth and the aboriginal indigenous people of the land, why don't we act like it? Matriarchy carries with it responsibility. That's what it is. So we have the responsibility to teach. You got to meet people where they're at. So, and nobody knows everything. So, really, you should only be teaching from experience. She was right in saying that, like, be careful of choosing elays and, do your research and see what is the status of the elay. Look at the seeds that the godchildren, which is also kind of like a colonial thing that came into this tradition. But look at your godparents and see if their life is something that you would want to emulate. It's the same thing that I was told by my elders. Do not marry someone unless you want to be them. Do not, necessarily participate with people on that level where you're going to have people shedding blood on behalf of you and your family or loved ones unless you want to emulate the life that they're living. So I think that when we have these types of conversations, we have to be more responsible, we have to be mature, and we have to be civilized. And mothers are civilization teachers, women are civilization teachers, because if you think about it, every single soul that has incarnated into this realm incarnates into the realm of earth, which is the jurisdiction in the realm of the elder mothers, the Iyami. There is nothing that you can do on this mute carpet without that energy knowing. So we have to carry the torch of light and darkness and be balanced with it, because we can give life and we can take life with the power of our words. So said these women in these documentation that Sister Ayala Kamari, Dr. Ayala Kamari, she has so many names in my head because she's got so many titles. But anyway, that she has shared with us. We got to be responsible. A lot of times we get this information, we want to put out our chest, we want to act like our ovaries are made of steel. That's not what it's about. It's understanding that these brothers are our sons, they're our husbands, they're our nephews, and let's take this information and act accordingly.
I wanted to also talking about the demonization of the Iyami. A lot of times when we talk about Iyami, they want to say that they're like the witches and the evil part of the society, and be careful of them, and things like that. That they're like the people that that come after you if you did if they and give you all type of bad energy and this, that, the other. Can you break down the Iyami for people that are?
And my sister said, my one sister said, I was telling her one day, can you believe this sister told somebody, like, and a budding child is going to be a great nurturer for your children, and she's going to do the best for them, but you just need to watch out for her, like, just keep an eye out for her. I'm like, WTF? And my sister was like, and she should have said that. She should have known, like, when you're in the presence of somebody with a big destiny like yours, that you ain't got to light a candle. You are well protected, and they might want to consider whether they want to be your enemy or not. And I was like, So on that note, I believe that information is out there and it has been purposeful, even if the information was misconstrued as far as our elder mothers, right? Because as far as I know, sis, ain't nobody getting through Oludumare unless they get through Abu Abu Shishe, as we greet each other, right? So you've got to be able to contend with Iyami.
Can you explain what Iyami is for those people that probably don't even
like
know?
I said, the primordial elder mothers. It's to me, in it's like a real form. It's not like Orisha, like shapeshifters, like actually exist, real.
You know, a lot of times in a lot of those movies where they have like the Lord of the Rings, they'll show like these kind of witches in the mountain and they're like old looking and decrepit looking terrible, like eyes and stuff like missing and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
And that's how they like to depict that energy, that elder Iyami. Osuranga, yes.
I love this book. I think she did a very good job in explaining Iyami. And she says, with reverence and respect and extreme caution, as Iyalode, I put ink to paper and approach Iyami Osuranga Epa Iyami under the auspices of humbleness, awe, and adoration. I write under the authority of Ifa, Odu, Osa Meiji, Ose Torah, Ose Torah Meta, that I will write what I will write will manifest in the hearts and souls of many. And I can tell you, sister, definitely manifested in my own heart. Iyami Osuranga means my mothers bring me the power of astral travel. Iya, mi, oso, ran, ga. The power of the word is the power to enter the astral plane, and from the plane, the power of Ofo, the mouth, She, is used to change the condition of life on earth, which is believed by traditional Ifa worshippers. In traditional Ifa, Iyami Osuranga is the foundation of everything. And that quote was from Fatumbi. So I hope that gave you a good definition. I wanted to get that book because that is where I think she gave me a better understanding of what Iyami Osuranga is. So if we understand that our spirit, our soul is operating, our soul is kind of animating our spirit, and our spirit is animating this masquerade of this flesh that we have, that on different levels and different, some people call frequencies or dimensions, we exist. And we know that because you can have a thought and it can manifest. It does manifest in this realm. We also know because we have dreams. So astral travel is very real. Some people actually do astral project. Myself and my family, we love to do it. Right? It's something that we love to do. So the power of the mouth, also, like, and that's also the shape shifting, because if you are on a different dimension beyond the fourth dimension, or the third and the fourth dimensions, the more higher you go, the more certain things don't matter. So if somebody isn't in tune in this dimension, they might see you as a bird, they might see you as a cat or as an elephant. That's why certain spirit traditions, indigenous traditions, people have spirit animals and things like that, and they have totems.
So is that the same thing? So is there a certain thing in Ifa where there are spirit animals for each thing? I know that they were saying that there's a buffalo for Oya, there's like the bee for Oshun. There's.
I learned again before I started in Isheshe in I was born in 1995. So 1996. I started the tradition in 1996. And like officially, like when you get your you have your lake ceremonies and stuff like that, and
right,
it was so beautiful because I was wearing that stuff up until I started going into Isheshe. But in those stories, yes, it's always like there are synchronizations with animals and different Orisha, like the elephant and Obatala, or even Ifa for that matter. So yes.
So I wanted to like kind of get into, like I said, we're into the Easter holiday, Esther, the egg, and there's been such of a demonization of the woman's menstrual cycle. But at the same point, like I said, during communion, what they'll do is eat of the blood and drink it of the flesh.
Cannibalism.
Right. And so here's the thing, I mean, from what I understood, there's a lot of ceremonies where menstrual blood is used, but yet it's demonized in other things. So
at this juncture, everything that our ancestors did has been demonized. Everything that are not everything, but most things that the majority of things that especially our women ancestors did were demonized. So my husband always says that we are perfect because we are made of both agreeable and disagreeable. The imperfection, he doesn't say this, but I'm saying the imperfection comes from the lack of knowing how to be balanced.
So someone just asked, how does the masculine energy or male work with the Iyami in harmony?
Well, women birth men and women. So men are also Iyami. Now that's also a debate I've seen, but they are our sons. So you know how to treat your mother. You know how to treat your elder women. Let me see. What was the question again?
It says, how does the masculine energy work or male energy work with the Iyami harmony?
With respect. You respect women. That's how you can be in harmony. The best way to honor and recognize Iyami in my personal way is to treat your mothers and mothers, women who have birthed children in this realm, with respect, to treat the elder women in your community with respect, to appease them, to make sure that they are well taken care of, to make sure that they are well spoken of, even when no one is looking, to make sure that you offer them gifts and things like that. You don't want to upset Iyami because then some of the things that they have demonized, they're demonizing because there's so much power there that it's absolutely true.
Because that could be a person that even has the Iyami spirit within her, and then a person disrespects her. You'd be surprised at how the karma hits them very quickly, and they'll think you did something that did some witchcraft on you. Didn't do nothing.
That spirit that you're calling is what people call Ajay. And maybe I'm saying that wrong because there's, Ajay, the daughter of Olokun, the energy of wealth. But there's also the other Ajay, Ajay, which is that spirit that all women are born with. And it's powerful.
So can you explain the Ajay?
It's like I said, it's the energy that is born within us. Like what some people would say is like the ashe that we have. It's like an inherent thing that we have, which is being able to speak and manifest things into existence, the ability to be able to breathe forth life, or also say, no, I want to have an abortion, things like that.
Interesting. So another question I wanted to ask is witchcraft, right? So a lot of times people want to associate women with witchcraft, right? So why do you think that is? Is that whenever a woman is doing I believe that the witchcraft aspect of things is definitely a demonization of women, because
most people, in my observation, kind of follow the crowd. So some people, they follow the crowd. They have to vote. They're Democrat or they're Republican. Some people follow the crowd. They have to be a part of something: Islam, Judaism, Christianity, even IFA, African traditional religions. And once they are a part of those things, they follow the crowd. A lot of times people are not Ori led. So they are led by the Ori of their Babalaos, Iyanifas. They're led by the Ori of a pastor. They're led by the Ori of the president. Whether they like him or not, they're going with that flow. So it is a common thing that if somebody's doing something to you and you don't even know how to articulate that, you feel it on a spiritual level, that person must be doing something in the dark, which witchcraft has a negative connotation, which usually means that they're doing something dark, not something that is considered to be light, right? So that's what people automatically go to. And I just think that that's normal when you're dealing with humans in this dimension that have no understanding or of cosmology, like IFA cosmology. So it's just easier to be like, she's doing witchcraft. And especially in the age of technology, there's so much information out there. Anybody using candles, doing tarot, wearing crystals, all these things that were demonized by most Christian churches, think about it, it is associated with paganism, which is really people who farm the land, and witchcraft. If they really, really understood etymology and the and the denotation of things rather than the connotation of things, they would understand that a witch or a sorcerer is somebody who's a smart and intelligent and wise.
Right. And I think that the whole thing, sorcerer, source, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's like the first word in sorcerer is source, right?
So I guess we all witches and sorcerers, because that's my grandson's name.
Right.
So
okay. You named a sword. Okay.
Yeah.
So I wanted to ask a question because it's interesting. We talk about the ma's son, right? The mother's son, and you have a Masonic, the Masons, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you have what is it called? The Eastern Star, that
Mm-hmm.
they can't be Masons, but a man could be an Eastern Star, but a woman can't be a Mason.
Right. Well,
So that's like do you think it's a similar thing where these patriarchal communities kind of like got the information from the women, and then they just blocked them out once they got the information?
Yeah, it's so far gone at this point. Like she said, the first documented thing that she could find was like in 1915. But like I said, in these books, I'll just take these two out. Yeah, this is good. In these books, she does a really good job of documenting how from every religion that we know, including Christianity, like women were the foundation. Feminine energy was the foundation that manifested these traditional early religions. And here we are now in 2025, not knowing any of that, just going with the flow. I mean, we all went with the flow. We're still going with the flow, right? Because
you talk about mommy water, but you talk about going with the flow. Water, flow, right?
Okay, good one.
All this stuff all connects together. The flow, we get our period, where we having our flow. All that stuff all connects into the water.
Well, of course, people are going to demonize what they don't understand. We have never been understood because we haven't been given a chance to understand. We weren't allowed to write. We weren't allowed to read. I'm just thinking about here in America, what we know in the United States. Like, we're just discovering ourselves or rediscovering ourselves. So even we demonize, how many women do you know? Oh my God, my period.
Right.
Even with all this information, oh my God, my period. Oh my God, I have cramps. Like
that's what makes you a woman. Hello.
You need to release. Why is your thing contracting so much where you hurt? Let F go. You know what I'm saying? You gotta study herbs and stuff like that, or you just gonna be taking Tylenol, Advil, Midol, and all that kind of stuff. So it's the more you learn. That's why we're here in this world school. Like, our soul incarnated here to have these experiences so that we can evolve. So if you find yourself saying, and they demonize this and they demonize that, you probably are operating from a different frequency. You might want to educate yourself and level on up at that point. Like, those are real flags or Ori signals that I like to say. Those are signals from your Ori, your head, the head nigga in charge, the guardian of your destiny, your whole governance ordinance department. That is the one thing that is going to guarantee your success. But we are always following from our parents to our peers to our teachers. We're always trying to follow a path that not necessarily is supposed to be ours.
Well, no, there's a reason why I bring up the demonization, is to clear it up. I like to clear things up because I want people to understand the truth about these things and not necessarily just be caught up in the what people say on the street. I
have some books on even that, where the sister documents. I think it's in my other room, another bookshelf. I don't want to have to keep getting up, but I have another book, and I'll try and get to it at some point. She does a good job of documenting how they demonize menstruation. This book does it as well. You know, that we're not clean, you know, all that type of stuff. I grew up hearing all of that, especially when I started dealing with Rastas and Hebrew Israelites. It was like, you can't cook when you're on your cycle. I'm like, why? Why the F not? You know, or even in E5, it's like you can't deal with your shrines when you're on your cycle, or you can't do a part of certain rituals. Some say, oh, because all women are so powerful that you can affect the outcome. You know, so
I heard that there was something like that some of those like especially in Palo Mayombe, they say that those muerto that they deal with are bloodthirsty, and when you're on your period, they can come after you or something like that. That's the reason why women shouldn't practice with those particular things.
All of these explanations are great, all of them. You know, I think they're great. I think they're valid, but if they're not for you, they're not for you. And if your spirit just feels like it's a demonization, I think that is the point when you kind of like change your circle, change your crowd, change your focus. You know,
well, you know what? It ain't my crowd that says it. I'm just,
no, not you.
Oh, okay. I'm like
the people. Like when we're learning about I think it's great to point out that things have been demonized, but I think it's important for us to find out
the truth,
what's true for us in our spirit, in our destiny. So ain't nobody can tell me, you know, that I can't be working with my IFA. Let IFA tell me. You see what I'm saying? Let me have a conversation with IFA. Let's divine on it and tell me, you know, what I'm supposed to do, what I can and cannot do.
And from what I understand, that different elays can add to the Odu according to what's going on there, and so that for that particular elay, that might be the truth. You know,
maybe that's why it's really important for people to interview their elays before they join. I wish I knew that after I left after I ventured out from my home elay.
Yeah. A lot of times, like when you're getting ready from a Babalawo, you kind of feel like a loyalty aspect to that. You don't want to like eventually go to be, you know, getting too many jumping from place to place because it could lead to confusion. And you know, so I think that's what you know, when you have too many people reading you and giving you different information, then you end up confused, you know.
It's true. So I think it's also important that when you're choosing who you're going to study with, like to have some type of loyalty. Like I really tried to stay as long as I could, but and I did. In fact, I didn't leave. I just kind of was kicked out the group. I was like, oh wow, really? You know, okay. But I could honestly say that if it was me, it had to be because I was doing work with other elays, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like getting information and studying with other Babalaos and things like that, and still getting my feet wet. And it's not that I didn't love my home or my Oluwo. It was just that the stuff Ayala Kamari teaches just resonates, you know, or the brother that I might have been working with in continental Africa was way cheaper. You know, I can't afford, like if I'm somebody, and I was for myself and my two daughters getting DAFA every single month. Can you imagine how much that costs every single month?
Right.
The Ebo, and this person was charging me like over 500 for each. Listen, I had to go somewhere else. Somebody was like, sis, you know, I got you. And it was great. And
it did the trick. It wasn't no different. It wasn't any less powerful.
I wasn't getting it done every day at this point, but I knew I needed to talk to IFA, and I wasn't in the position to do it for myself. So I had to go to an IFA or a Babalao. And it was a great experience, and it was much cheaper. And I did communicate that with my Oluwo, and like a couple days later, he put in the group, like, and you need to have common sense to say, I can't afford this, and I was like, oh, he's talking to me, but talking to the group, like you're speaking for an audience. And then like a day or two later, I was kicked out the group. I was like, okay. Like our you know, like our WhatsApp group, which was where we learned a lot of things. And I just said,
okay, the group.
I've learned so much. Like, I'm not going to go chase that, because I have too many people that I think are doing a great job in this tradition that I can study and I can learn from, and I can teach myself. You know what I mean? Like, I literally can study Odu and talk to Maifa and all the the Orisha and the shrines that I have received and that I've been initiated into, and really start doing this work. And when I started doing that, my life really changed for the better. So I said all that to say that, and was given my own personal experience, that your spirit, when you are in alignment, will tell you if information is true or not for you.
Yeah, it will definitely. I agree. Now, I wanted to like get into IFA and relationships. I got like two more videos I want you to comment on,
Oh
and
goodness.
we'll just wrap this up. We'll come do a part two on another subject. But I really wanted to touch on this subject, given this the holiday that it is. I think that it's an important subject to talk about, the feminine energy. I think we just need to do more about the feminine energy because there's so much opposition out here. You have this red pill community, people talking so negative about men, about women,
Yeah.
and we've lost our way. I think our community is like kind of like losing our way when it comes to relationships, male and female. And so I wanted to like kind of get into that
Okay.
and discuss IFA and relationships.
Welcome back, guys. Thank you so much for all of your love and support. I really do appreciate it. I find that dating within the religion, I feel like it brings you guys closer together. You can also hold each other accountable. Like, oh, babe, I know that this is taboo for you. You can't do it. Sometimes we even observe our taboos with each other. Like, I'm not going to say what my taboos are, but we have certain taboos. Sometimes like I'll take on one of his taboos. So we're holding each other accountable. There's always that, like, going to do offerings together, helping each other with prayers, lifting each other up, in a way that we both understand because we're both within the same spiritual practice. So I think it is best for you to date within your own spiritual belief, whether that be Muslim, Christian, IFA. For example, right? Let's say I'm dating somebody that's Christian. Let's say I'm dating a Christian man. He's going through a hard time. Immediately, I want to go to the ocean. I want to go talk to Yemoya. I want to take him with me. I want to bathe him in the waters. But if he's a Christian man, this is seen as demonic, right? Like, I can't go and leave an offering out at the ocean because like I'm leaving something out for an entity or for a demon. We don't share the same ideology, right? So it's always best for you to date within the religion. It brings unity. It brings peace as well. Like, you guys hold each other accountable. That's the biggest thing about IFA. IFA holds you accountable. And when you date somebody within the practice, you guys can hold each other accountable. So it's like having a buddy in faith, if that makes sense. So yes, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Please let me know if you have any other questions. I'll be happy to answer them. Bye.
All right. So what do you think about that? When it comes to dating within the religions, like, do you encourage that people probably date more within the IFA? Like, if you're IFA, you should date within. What do you think?
Nope, I don't. I think I don't. And I'm saying, like, I really do think it's important that whether you're an IFA or not, that you should have somebody that you respect, that is an elder, that is living that life, that can consult with you and give you advice. And I think that if you're in the tradition, we are told that anything that's important in life, and we know that relationships are important because they bring forth ire omo. So that's how the marriage can be fruitful, that you should definitely seek divination for marriage and things like that. And IFA will tell you certain things. IFA will advise, I should say. So, no, I think that it is very possible for someone to be Muslim and for someone to be from the IFA tradition. And I think to each relationship its own.
Yeah, because I mean, it's not like IFA is banning you from going to the mosque.
My husband was not at into this tradition, but he's sitting here right here. If I ever pray, he's right there. If we're doing any rituals, he's right there. If he has to help with Ebo, he is the first one there. If we got to help clean the animals, he's the first one there. We got to clean the shrines, he's the first one there. You understand what I'm saying? So he wasn't in that tradition, but we definitely had conversations, and we definitely got Idafa before we took this route. And IFA also says for me that I have to be married to a Babalawo, same as my children. And he is not a Babalawo. But Ifa says that it's his lineage. Like Ifa is in him, that he is an Orunmila in this time. So it's up to him if he feels like he wants to initiate to Ifa or or initiate to Ifa.
It's not necessary to pressure anybody, or
it's not a taboo for him not to. It's not a taboo that this particular man that is my husband is not a Babalawo in the traditional Inisheshe sense. My father is not a traditional Babalawo, but I guarantee every time you talk to him, there's a story. Because he was an alcoholic and he's been an Alcoholic Anonymous all these years. So his Odu Ifa is Alcoholics Anonymous. He can tell you the page, the chapter. And actually, he gave me his first book. And I found that book, this 12-step program, to be very helpful, so to each their own, right? So you can't tell me that the spirit of the word is not in Alcoholics Anonymous. It's not in all of these books. It's the word manifest, made flesh. It's the wisdom. So to me, Ifa is everything. It is the cream of the crop when it comes to spirituality. So I do not think with such a technology that it has to operate according to somebody else's culture, which might be Yoruba. My culture, like I'm not Yoruba. I will never be Yoruba. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Right. So Yoruba is the culture, but but at the end of the day, I'm American. So we're gonna have a different way of looking at things. How we came up, everything. Polygamy. Do you think that polygamy is something that should be that's a normal thing in Ifa?
I think it's a normal thing in our community as brown people, melanated people. I think it's also in Ifa. I also, like I said, I've studied a lot. You see all the books that I've had. I see the colonial aspect of that has infiltrated Ifa, whether people will agree with it or not. That some of these things are not, it's not Ifa, like Ifa has verses about polygamy saying just like Islam says that you can have 4, Ifa says that you can have many, but one is better, same as Islam,
So
like Ifa has, I forget which, I don't know why my mind is going to a blank right now, but it's like with each additional wife, you get more headaches.
Oh, that's what it says in the Odu?
Like there's more problems. You can, more money, more problems, more wives, more problems.
So speaking of culture, I think that this was an actual thing I saw, and it spoke more because when he said that this is what Ifa said, people were like, well, I want to know what the verse was, what Ifa said, this and that. That's what Babalaos were coming in. But then he corrected himself and said, well, no, this is probably more culture. So let's check this out.
I mentioned, like the book, when we do a next show, I definitely will bring the receipts because I have that information. I'm just not, I gave up trying to be so intellectually, I don't even know the word for
it. Policing people intellectually.
Like performing. I think that I have learned, the thing that I study the most is my birth Odu and the Ita. I study those things profusely.
So you tend to you're more into introspective study of oneself rather than
No. I'm able to do divinations. I'm able to have great relationships with people because I know myself and I believe in myself. Because I was initiated to Ifa. So just as Ifism says, as the light will turn to day, so will your life go according to how this Odu fell for you. And I believe that with all my heart. Like, I know that. So I know who I am. I know how to play my position. And I play in a very offensive way in my life.
Rather than reactionary and defensive, yes.
That way I always know where I'm at and I always know my position. Also, I'm a martial artist, so I understand that every strike is a block and every block is a strike. You know what I mean? So I'm a strike. So I don't think it's necessary for people to have the same denomination. I think that people come together for spiritual reasons, and sometimes man-made things like religion can get in the way, tradition can get in the way, and culture can get in the way. But I also believe that we create our own culture, our own family, our own community, our own nation, and so forth. I think that in IFA especially, we have tools.
Yeah. So I wanted to play this real quick for you to check tell me, but check this out.
Also goes on to say that Arumila wants to see a man earn a woman's love and trust, and that the woman should even play hard to get, and the man should persist until he's won her over. And once that man has won that woman's love and trust, that she is to give herself to that man. Ifa also says that when a woman is in love, there is nothing that she can't accomplish. She is endowed with ashe that makes magic happen. And when a man is upstanding and loves his wife, takes care of his wife, and serves and fulfills the duties that a husband should, then he's empowered and emboldened by the ashe that she brings to his life. So you see that, like, there's a reciprocity, a respect for the roles that Ifa says that should be in place. Ifa also goes on to say,
so it was interesting when he did this.
I'm like, cut it out, dude. And Ifa says, like,
well, no, what's crazy is that in the comments you have Abu Aboye. I would love to see the verses of Ifa from which this wisdom comes from.
Well, listen, I've heard so many stories like Arumila comes to this town and wants the queen's daughter, and this woman took him through hell. And so Ifa says that, interpretations, right?
Mm-hmm.
So there are many verses in Odu Ifa that actually speak to this situation. But does that mean that that's for every woman? No, that's your interpretation. That's based off of your state of mind. That's based off of your Ori consciousness.
Right, because Ifa probably also had other verses in that same Odu that came out that you probably could have read, but this is the read, And
I think it's interpretation.
Right.
And we are not in Nigeria. We are not in the continent of Africa. What are you talking about, bro? but at the same time, I can respect it because that's the energy that you're putting out. That's the energy that some people might receive. And a woman might hear that and feel like that's what she needs to do. She needs to play hard to get. That's not how I got
that's
my
like
husband.
Kind of playing games, right? Like when you're like,
right, that's not how I got my husband, so I really can't go. That doesn't speak to me. And that's not what I'm going to be teaching my daughters. I'm not going to tell my daughters to go play hard to get. I'm like, a brother feeling you right now. You are not married. You have not had the sexual experiences like I had by your age. You need to go out and have some of those experiences. And you might not find this one attractive, and this one might not have the money that you were thinking about, and this one and so forth. But you need to go and learn and go to school and dating right now. Don't play hard to get. Be
right.
yourself. Just be yourself at all times. Have good character at all times in every single situation, because every single situation is the present. Every single situation, there isn't a shoe that is there, knowing that if you do good, then you receive good. If you do bad, then you'll receive bad. At every situation, there is a choice. So, like you said, sis, playing games, playing hard to get at this juncture, where we're having a hard time being able to have relationships and be able to hold those relationships and do what regular people and other nationalities do, like date, court, have a relationship, get have a partnership, produce children from those partnership, stay together with those with the person that you made those children with. Like, we're not doing that.
Right.
We haven't been doing that for a long time. So I don't feel like playing hard to get when there's all these women and so little few men. And as it said way back in the day, women outnumbered men even then. So I don't know about the playing hard to get. But I do understand, and like I said, I respect the energy with which he's coming from. I think it's the energy sometimes. And I don't know if it's just because I'm a Pisces, triple Pisces, and that I have an ability to understand what somebody is saying underneath what they're saying.
Right. Yeah, like a woman in love can conquer everything, and if she gets behind you, then it can help you as a man to accomplish anything. I think that was the main point, but the beginning part is like, then why would you play games in the beginning? Play the game.
Well, also he could just be saying in a not nasty way, like, don't be so easy.
That could be it too.
Yeah. So like I said, I respect, what he's coming from, but that's his state of mind. That's for his audience. I don't know who either of these people are. So they're not part of my audience, not my audience. They're not part of my feed or anything like that. So that's not what I'm living. That's not what I'm experiencing. That's not what I'm teaching my children, my grandchildren. We teach believe in you and believe in be the best version of yourself in every situation that you could be in. And that includes even in a dating situation.
So the final thing I wanted to kind of clear up, because all this is really making clarifying statements to kind of get past a lot of confusion that's going on. Because
I'm not the authority, but thank you for asking my opinion on these.
No, I believe you're doing a great job at how you're breaking things down. So please do not don't minimize yourself, because I mean you're doing a good job at that, at what you're doing. So
thank you.
I wanted to kind of get into.
Also, I don't really want to be on screen too, so I'm kind of like, oh god,
it's almost over. It's almost over. Okay, so I wanted to get into this subject. It's a very sensitive subject, and the thing is discussing being taken advantage of.
Yes.
Okay. Now,
it's so sad.
Let's get into the video real quick. Here we go.
Okay. Oh God.
All right. So IFA is a Yoruba religion from Nigeria, and it's based on spiritual guidance from Orishas. Orishas are divine beings, spirits connected to natural forces, and this religion is deeply cultural and sacred for many people. But here's what people don't tell you: some babas are using it not to help you, but to manipulate you. And who's easy to manipulate? Those that do not know their culture, those that do not speak their language, those that are desperate, those that need quick results, those that have a trauma bonded soul, those that are people pleasers, those that have a guilt driven belief, and those that are spiritually curious. All right, so about 4 years ago, one day, a Baba DM'd me saying things about my life that I actually felt. Money problems, issues in love. I was curious. I was already seeking spiritual guidance in that moment of my life. I was vulnerable. When he spoke to me, he spoke in English, so I trusted him. Fast forward, the rituals began. Before the rituals, I gave him my full name and my birthday. I'm talking about first, middle, last name, full birthday, year, not realizing until years later that all of those things actually will show you your life path if you know how to use them the correct way. Your birthday, the year you were born, all of that. You can tap into your life path by having all of this information. Now, I was the type of person who always wrapped my head already, because I knew that something about the head, you know what I mean? I knew the head was very important, right? However, during these rituals, during these prayers, I was always asked to uncover my head so that they could pray over my ori, my head, which is like one of the most spiritual body parts on you. And every time he prayed, every time these rituals happened, he was no longer speaking English. He was actually speaking in his language. I knew nothing of what he was saying. However, after everything he said, he needed me to confirm by saying Ashe. So I was confirming things over my life, my soul, my spirit, that I didn't even know what I was confirming. That's insanity, right? He told me I had to send offerings or the blessings wouldn't come. I remember losing money, feeling mentally confused. My marriage got worse. And at that time, I didn't know it then, but I was being bound, not blessed. But listen, not everyone in IFA is like this. There are people that use this practice for light, but never be so naive that you don't realize when a Baba is using it for greed and manipulation. Comment part 2 if you want to know the spiritual consequences I faced and how I started waking up to the truth after practicing IFA.
That's what I said when I watched it. I was like, wow.
I told you to stop it because things were coming to me, but I couldn't. She just.
Oh, you were on mute. That's why whenever I play the overlay, it'll be on mute. That's why I couldn't hear what you were saying. Okay, my bad. You gotta hit unmute so I could hear you.
Okay.
But that's the last video I was gonna play, and I wanted to like cover that.
Yeah, made me spark up. Like what? I'm past.
But there's so much out there that's saying stuff like this. There's so many things out there that's like this. It's crazy.
I'm like, I'm past 50 now. I ain't got nothing to prove or hide. Like I smoke. Okay.
Right. It's okay.
Thank you very much.
Right. Thanks for the tree. The trees.
Yeah. Well, she done had something that was a sister, right?
Yeah.
Wherever you go, there you are. We're all reflections. A lot of what she said was a projection and ChatGPT written. I can always tell when somebody's. It's like the same things.
Cadence.
Yeah, I'm like, and this is where it is, and it's not this, and it's that, and I'm like, okay. Stop.
Yes, this is not a such and such. It's this.
It's the revolution. It's creating a movement. It's telling you everything that you want to hear. But she's right. This tradition for people in the diaspora, we are definitely PTSD. We have definitely been traumatized. It's in our DNA. And I'm not claiming that, but I'm saying the majority of us, I feel like I'm evolving from that. And I'm now in the blessings. Yes, I received them, right? But yes, we are drawn to these religions because we're searching. We just didn't see the white Jesus, and Islam might have been too militant, and Jewish just seemed too white, like we have our reasons. So we go Hebrew Israelite, right? We go Holy Tabernacle, we have all these different things because we're searching. And I love that. So you're right. But we're also not talking about, we also need therapy. We need, mental health is important, right? So we go in these traditions and think that we can replace. I was also one of those people. My Oluwo said, you need therapy. And then Sister Ayala Kamara, she had did my marriage reading. And she was like, yeah, you definitely need therapy. Okay. But it wasn't in a negative way. It was like, these are some things that IFA is saying, that there's somebody else that you should talk to, that when you do your interviews of these people, like try to find somebody that you're comfortable with. Like, just don't be doing stuff to be doing stuff. And somebody that's in the inbox too, that's another thing, right? Like
Babalaos do not hit you up on the inbox.
Babalaos do hit people up on the inbox, but I'm just saying there's a lot of people who don't. Most of them, I would like to think that the ones that are like true to their their calling are not recruiting through Facebook Messenger in that way, saying that they know certain things about somebody. But there are Babalaos who need money and are hungry and do that, and it doesn't always turn out to be like that. It could just be a comment on a post. It could be you develop a relationship, and these people, it could be it's a long-term thing. It might be 4 years that they're courting you to get money from you because that's what they do, That doesn't mean that, remember, this is a lot of people's culture, so they grew up with this. Same way we say we grew up with don't walk underneath the ladder, spit on the broom if you sweep somebody's feet, right? We grew up certain things that are integral parts of us, whether we go into Christianity or whatever. A lot of times we go into these religions or the ATRs trying to replace. We try to replace. We looking for godparents. You look at that, so your godparent is your new Jesus, your Lord and Savior. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And I think that what's up, he's praying over me. He's saying it in his language. I didn't understand what he's saying. And then he's binding me to him and stuff like that,
Ifa, the Yoruba religion is so esoteric. It has so much mystery, so much beauty, so much technology, so much science, right? I think it's great when we can know the language and understand it and use it to our ability. But I also think it's great that our Ori chose to speak English and to use a language that we can understand so that we can that technology can be applied to our life here right now. So I don't have any problem. There's so many times when I'm singing and I'm chanting, my children be like, and who was that? You speaking like patois right now, or I'll be saying stuff and a whole nother language comes out that I don't even know, right? Like I'm speaking in tongues. So who are we to say that just because you didn't do a good job and do research on who you chose to do this work with, and you didn't already see that this person, when they start chanting and stuff, they chant in their own language, they chant what they know. How many times you get in an argument with someone who speaks a different language and they just start speaking Spanish or something? You know what I mean? Because there's certain words that just can't be translated sometimes in English. So I can't.
And then here's the thing: a lot of times she's saying her life got flipped, turned upside down. A lot of times, sometimes that's necessary in order to get on track.
But you also have to remember, is since you have a little knowledge of this situation, you already not going to allow you to be in any situation that it doesn't want you to be in. So you obviously had to go through that experience. And if you didn't get the lesson, then that's on you. So right now she's in a space, she's trying to tell people like, listen, a lot of people are going here because they're effed up. Yeah, that's true. And then you might go to a Babalawo that's telling you all the right things that you need to hear because this is what they do for a living. Honestly, a lot of these Babalawos, this is their way of life. This is their living. This is their career. We cannot fault them for that. Just know we can't fault pastors and things like that, right? How they do it could be questionable. And a lot of the times the people that are in your inbox, of course, they know what to do and they know what to say. If you're somebody that doesn't know and you said, oh, I got a message from your ancestors want you to do this, right?
Why are you contacting my ancestors, sir? Like,
I'm just saying you wouldn't know how to say that, but for somebody that's new and they're just like, wow, that's deep. They were hitting. Think about how many times people go to a tarot reading or they get their fingerprints and like, oh my God, they tell me things that how would they know? You know, it's not just this tradition. People do the same thing going back to church and getting saved. What is the
difference? Yep. Get prophesied to.
Just
they had that, what's that thing? They'll have that homecoming thing and they get the prophet to come out and say all this stuff. And next thing you know, you're getting baptized and everything. She's telling you everything. And, you know, that church might not be the one that you're supposed to be going to, you know, so it's the same thing.
We have the platforms to be venting. We have the platforms to be praising. So people are utilizing it and they're sharing their experiences and they really are trying to put people down. I feel like that energy of the sister was really trying to put people on in the best way that she could. Like now I'm here and I'm saying Ashe and this person could say yes. And I'm going to have her marry me and I'm going to empty her bank account and she doesn't even know. But I really say at the end of the day, the responsibility is on you. So now she's telling her story of how she didn't make a responsible choice based off of trauma. A lot of us, including you and I, we have made decisions in our life, have birthed children by making decisions from a place of pain and trauma that we might not have been aware of.
Exactly. Yep.
So
you can't handle this religion like a Christianity with blind faith.
It's a way of life.
It's way of life, yeah, with blind faith. You have to vet people, you gotta know. And you never know, because a lot of times somebody's energy, if they have impoverished energy, sometimes that energy can transfer. If they're, even though they're praying for you, but they're in not in the right space in their own head. That's why it's good to know the person that you got praying for you and what their situation is. Because a person that's like struggling they self, you know, that energy could like, you know, could transfer over, you know, so you gotta really be careful.
You go, there you are. I honestly, wherever you go, there you are. You know, that's I just really live by that.
Right. So listen, this has been a great live. We have covered so many different things. Can't wait to bring you back. I'm not sure what we're going to talk about next. But I think that this is a great thing when we talk about the feminine energy. I think we need to have more positive affirmations about the feminine energy when there's so much out there that's saying so many negative about the female, the woman, everything.
I just can't. I don't even see a lot of these things anymore. I really believe in wherever you go, there you are. One day I sat and I unfollowed everybody on my Facebook page, every single person. And I started going back and I'm like, wait, I miss Ayala Kamari. Wait, I miss DJ Genesis. Oh, I'm definitely following my mom and my children, right? And then from there, things that I would look up on Facebook or based off of what I post, I started seeing more likes, new followers, and things like that. That really helped me. So I don't see a lot of the same things that when I used to just get friend requests from people from Nigeria and get all those inboxes. And now when I go into messages that have to be approved, a lot of those messages are grayed out. Those are people who were hitting me up like, hello, IFA, or, or do you know, what do you know about the ATRs? Or I got a message from your ancestors. I'm like, they're blocked. They're grayed out, which means that those accounts were not even real. So I changed my circle because I didn't like the quality of my feed. I'm like, it is so much fighting going on. People talking about, so many babalaos talking about each other. I wanted quality content that could actually improve my life. So even on my Instagram, I did the same thing. My godson, he was just like, that's so arrogant of you. And I was like, wow. And he was playing and joking, but he was like, yeah, that's arrogant to have 0 followers. Like, you don't even have like over 30,000 followers. And I was like, nah, I wanted to see my feed change. And it really helped me. So at least now when I am going on to post and I do see some scrolling, there's some things that I can learn and some content that I'm actually interested in.
The same thing happened to me. If you look back on my page, you'll see like a lot of like fire and brimstone, Trump, this, that, the other, politics, and I was getting a lot of kickback, a lot of like angry Trump people and a lot of angry politicians. And you have a Trump something syndrome and all this other stuff, like a lot of hatred, and it even caused my channel to get a strike. Almost.
Oh, no. Almost with my money. No.
Honey, this channel was almost gone.
No.
Okay. And I had to completely do a 360. And that's why you see the content that you see now. And I'm going to tell you, it's definitely made a big change. My feed is much different. Mm-hmm. It's just that, every once in a while I do venture over, just like sometimes you might listen to Master P. You might listen to Come On Ride That, like the booty music.
I mean, let's keep it real.
Every once in a while you might go to that little negative side a little bit just to, just for balance.
Like what? This, what I'm saying?
You know what I'm saying? So, I every once in a while I'll venture over there and say, y'all still talking about y'all hate women? Okay. So.
You are what, you're going to attract where you're at. And if you don't understand, like, okay, this is an experience or a lesson, and you don't understand how to timeline jump or to navigate, then you're going to be stuck in that reality, in that realm. I don't have time for that.
Well, I'm still single, so I'm having my little male relationship things is going wrong. And so sometimes I might get into that mode of like so that's probably why it's coming up,
Well, let's have the next thing we do, like a sister circle, an online sister circle night or something like that, because let's get you to a space where you're attracting different vibrations of women who are married or women who are in good relationships. And let's have a sister circle that we're feeding you. Like, you're doing so much for us. Let us give back to you in that way, where you can ask some questions or tell us some things, and we could give some advice.
Yeah, because
I like divination right then and there, like Shells or Obi is real easy. Yes or no? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, because I swear, like I've been dealing with the same person, and I brought it up during a panel, and honey, the response I got, I was like, wow, and it was pretty much like, okay, well, you're old. A lot. So the common thing is, oh, you're 48 years old. It's over for you.
What? No.
You need to date someone in their 60s. You shouldn't be dating younger men. And
time never was when man was not. You know what I'm saying? Like, our spirit is eternal, and everything is happening according to how your Ori.
Right. So. We definitely, that's what I'll put together next, a sister circle, support circle, talking about.
Let's do a support circle. So, but let's do something where we're focusing on uplifting your spirit, uplifting our spirits, because you're only going to attract where the level which your spirit needs to evolve. So you want you're looking for that to be on a level where you're not single, where at least you're in a situation where people could be courting you and things like that. So
Right.
we got to show sisters those things that, or give them some tools which they could use to help them navigate the most direct path to, uplifting themselves.
In relationship. And it might even be because like I've had to like kind of change my whole look and everything. I was going through a depression, so
Mhm.
I'm trying to come out of that, and be more present in life and this, that, the other, and then there's a little thing called perimenopause that kicks in that really happens. So, definitely Sister Circle coming up next, guys. So
I'm going
definitely.
through that now. I'm going through that now, but also I've been vegan for so long, and I'm somebody that nurtures that part of me that likes to work with herbs and work with the earth and make sure I'm at the river, I'm at the ocean, I'm outside in the sun, I'm doing all the things, right? So it's been very helpful to that path. So I would love to be able to, share some insights as far as that is concerned. Because if
Right.
you really need to have a really good relationship with yourself, which is having an awesome relationship with your Ori. And there are so many easy ways to do that so that you can actually know that you are the CEO of your life and navigate this path. And if having a partner is part of that path, then you won't know until you get yourself right. And then once you get yourself right, that is when you go for divination, if you feel it in your spirit, to see what kind of sacrifices do you need to make. And I'm not talking about blood sacrifices. It could be like, you might have to do less of this, you know what I mean? Or you might have to switch up formats, which you're already doing,
Right.
in order to attract what it is that you need to take you to that level of partnership that you're seeking. But it has to be a partnership with yourself first.
Definitely. I definitely believe that. Well, I appreciate your time here. Is there any other final words you want to say before we close out the show?
No, I don't.
Well, I want to thank everybody who has watched this so far. Everybody on the playback, much love, everybody. Shouts out to Abundance Child for her time here. I appreciate you so much, sis. This was a great information session,
I'm
and I
glad you
look
think
forward to
so.
many more. I
I'm
look forward
so
to many more.
generic.
Huh?
I'd be so generic because I don't purport to know everything. I just know what I have in my experiences. And, I do my best to just be humane, honestly, to see things from an IFA perspective and understand destiny. So I don't feel as opinionated as I used to be, because I used to go hard, but life has shown me some things. So
Hasn't it shown all of us some things? Hey, when you don't get this far in life without some struggle,
So thank you for allowing me to share the little things that I've observed and learned, and I can't wait to do something else, especially involved with sisters, because I feel like we don't have enough of those type of circles within the IFA community, and I would love to share, in these circles, my knowledge of IFA, but through the lens of AC alignment. That's what I call my spiritual practice.
AC alignment.
Mhm.
All right. Well, thank you so much. Much love and peace.
Peace. And now let me see your face before we go. Come on now, sis.
Oh yeah, I'm sorry. I'm here.
Here, like,
I'm in the darkness.
no, you look beautiful. I just want
Thank
you to
you.
know, if nobody has told you today, you are beautiful. Those are my last words for today. And may you be rewarded for all these works that you're doing. You are so diverse. I love your content, and we all wish you the best.
Thank you so much. I appreciate you.
Look, my daughter,
Yes,
my
we
oldest.
do.
Oh,
Doesn't she look like Ayala Kabari?
Oh yeah, I can see that.
I'm like, girl. I'm like, does she have a picture in any of these books?
Oh, bless you.
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Oh my
what
God.
happened? You spilled.
No, we ain't spilled nothing, but we have a whole screen over here.
Oh, I almost fell.
Oh my God. And I'm not even high. I'm just, 'cause this is tobacco. Look at this sister.
Oh wow, yeah, we do have a. Wait, hold on. If I take my glasses off.
Look at this, sis. Oh my goodness. Right. Oh my. Did you find her yet on Facebook?
No, I have to find out if you could share me her Facebook, I would love to like.
Okay. Yep, she got a page and she got a and her website is just so full of stuff. My goodness. I probably read the whole thing.
Well, I probably will too. So just definitely share it. You know, I'm a Gemini, so Geminis like to just take
Gemini rising, baby.
Right. I'm just an information hound. So yes, you know.
And I guess that's that part of me that's like the intellectual junkie. Information.
Yeah.
Junkie.
So many books, you know, so much to read, you know.
Yeah. All right, sis.
All right.
Amazing. Thank you.
Peace. Much love.
Just when I thought I couldn't find my way out, yeah, I searched the God in me to find my way out. I know it can seem way out, but the Creator flows to and through me from way out. I'm talking way out, yeah, yeah, yeah. See if you believe in the God